Our top four soccer bets of the weekend. Man, we're excited. We're coming off a 2-2 week, but you know what? We still have so much value that we ended up with a profit. Ian is from Very Biased Opinions. He is back with us again, giving us his top bets in all European soccer leagues. So without further ado, let's get into it. Ian, 11 a.m. on the East Coast, we have the Premiership, Man Utd, Burnley. One decent team, one not great team. What are we looking at in this matchup?
Hello, Matt. Yeah, good to be back with you again. Just touching on last week, it was we did all right. We just missed out on the big ticket at the end with Atletico Madrid, but we'll get back to them some point in the future. They let me down big time. But Manchester United did the big business for us last week. We got our over bet on them. Very, very good performance by them against Spurs. Expect to see something similar from this Man United side against Burnley, who are one of the poorer sides in the league this season. But weirdly, of late, they usually a very stubborn side to beat Burnley, and they don't give a lot away. But of late, they've had a little habit of scoring goals, but then throwing the lead away. They were 2-0 up against Southampton, lost 3-2. 1-0 up, against Newcastle, and lost 2-1, almost inexplicable results. So they come up against one of the best sides in the league in Man United. We know Man United have that habit sometimes of letting the odd goal in. The odd mistake creeps in, shall we say. So we are going to look at the over on this one again. It worked well for us last week. So it's over 3 goals, Man United versus Burnley. Hopefully it's going to be a good start to Sunday for us.
I like that. And you know what? For the first time in a long time, I think Man United actually might score first here. It's been a long time since they've done that. But you know what? I want to talk about Burnley for a second. They actually are usually a middle table team. This year, not so much.
Well, let's hope Man United don't score first, because that seems to anger them, and then they go out and score a load of goals. Yeah, it's been a strange one for Burnley, and the biggest thing for them this season has just been scoring goals. And I know I talked about how they've addressed that in the recent weeks, but they've got such a really poor goal return this season. They've only scored 25 goals, which is terrible, really, in 31 games. They're going to stay up mainly because the other sides down the bottom, like Fulham and West Brom, don't look like they're going to be able to catch them. A combination of things, really. Sean Dyche, their manager, usually builds a really strong team, a really strong unit that all buy into a philosophy of playing, of being hard to beat, making the most of the chances that you create. And this season, I say, they just haven't been able to take the chances that they've created in games. They put themselves under pressure in a lot of games. There's a lot of off-the-field stuff going on at Burnley as well with takeovers, which means there's uncertainty about whether they're going to keep Dyche in the role, which would be a massive mistake if they got rid of him. But it's just that ultimately it's just been about them not scoring goals, which is why I think he's changed tactic in the last couple of weeks to be a bit more offensive, to try and get ahead in games, although it's not really worked for them, to just try and get a few more points just to make sure they stay in the league for another season.
Great insight. For those of us in the U.S., we don't get that kind of insight. If you need more soccer insight, make sure you go to Very Biased Opinions. These guys are fantastic, and their Premier League predictions are unreal. You got to go check their Premier League predictions out. They'll actually give you the score line for each and every match in the Premiership this weekend and all the weekends left in the league. So Man United, Burnley over 3. That's a great over there. It does give you an opportunity to push just in case Man United doesn't give up that mistake that we're hoping that they do. In our second bet, I know we are looking to probably one of the most underrated, at least for us in the United States, competitions in the world, and that is the FA Cup. For us, it's very underrated. Not many people know about this competition, but Leicester City and Southampton find themselves in the semifinals this weekend. What do you like for this match?
Yeah, well, the FA Cup has a huge tradition in England and around Europe, really. I mean, it's been going for well over 100 years now. And I think a lot of it boils down to people remember it with a lot of like romance, and people even older than me remember it with like a lot of like nostalgia, mainly because there wasn't so much football played on television. So that was like one of the only games you got to see in a year, if you can believe it. Now it's like every game's on telly. So now there's like more football being shown. The FA Cup gets a bit watered down a bit, so the kind of people don't take it as serious as maybe like the Premier League or the Champions League. But it used to be like the event, the sporting event of the year, really, in England. But it is still a massive opportunity to win a major trophy. And for these two sides here in Leicester and Southampton, sides that don't traditionally win a lot of trophies have that opportunity to do that. It's both of them coming up against each other. I see them as quite evenly matched sides. Now, you wouldn't think that looking at the league table, but I obviously like Southampton as a bit of a slightly worse version of Leicester. They play very similar styles. They got very similar offenses. Like, they like to press high. They like to win the ball back and play with a lot of pace and just try and smother defenses, if you like, and turn the ball over high. Leicester are just a little bit better at doing that, and Southampton's form's just fallen off a cliff. But earlier on in the season, they were a really good side and were a match for anybody. I look at Leicester's spine of their team, like down the middle, and I think that's where they've got more strength than Southampton. And I think that's ultimately where they will win the game. Betting on this one, though, I'm just going to say, remember to your members here, Matt, remember it's a cup game. And remember, like, the betting only counts within the first 90 minutes. So if it does go past, it does go into overtime or extra time, as we call it, if it goes beyond regulation and you haven't reached your bet, that is bet over, I'm afraid. So just, if you don't want to pick this one, I understand it, because cup betting can be a little bit up in the air. You never quite know what you're going to get. And that's why we're not going to pick a team outright to win. We are going for over again. We're going for over 2.5 goals in this one. We think both sides are going to score, and we think ultimately Leicester are going to edge it. But we think there's definitely going to be more than 2 goals, I would imagine, in this one.
And that's a great point for bettors, because a lot of people don't know sometimes if in those competitions, Champions League, Europa League, if it comes down to where there's extra time, the bet is completed actually within the first 90 minutes. That extra time does not mean anything. So if it was a 1-1 draw, you would lose even if the score ended up 2-1 in extra time or in shootout. So great point there. You know, just for a second, I do want to talk about Leicester City here, and I would hope that you can put us in the mind of a footballer. They have an opportunity to win the FA Cup, but as we both know, it goes simultaneously with the Premier League. Are they more focused on winning the FA Cup or being in the top 4 in the Premiership, which would put them into the Champions League next year? Or is there a possibility they can do both?
Well, they'll certainly be hoping they can do both. And it is realistically achievable for Leicester, you would say, although worryingly their form is dipping a little bit in the league. And when they have got the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea catching them up, which will make them sweat a little bit. First things first, this is a great opportunity for them to, first of all, get to a cup final. And I think the narrative in sport, in soccer, gets drawn towards the money rather than the actual glory and what the fans and what the players actually play the game for. And that's to win trophies, lift trophies, and end up at the end of the season, end of your career. Are you going to look back and think about the trophy that you won, or are you going to think, oh yeah, that was the year we came 4th in the league? It's it doesn't hold the same weight. And the same for fans as well. They'll remember those moments where they got to, I think fans will be allowed back into Wembley Stadium for the final as well. So nice. Yeah. It will be a great opportunity for fans of Leicester, if they make it, to go there. And, I've still got great memories of when I saw Oxford play at Wembley, and so you don't get those opportunities very often. And even for sides like Leicester, they don't get that opportunity very often. So if you're an accountant counting the coffers, I would say you'll be saying 4th place. But I would be saying if you're a Leicester fan, a Leicester player, and very importantly, Brendan Rodgers, the Leicester manager, you'll be looking at winning that trophy, because Rodgers won a lot of things with Celtic, but people don't really count that because they say, well, it's Scotland, it doesn't really count. He needs to win something big in England before people will really start taking him seriously to be considered as one of the great managers and maybe moving on to getting a higher job. So he needs to win this trophy as well. I'm saying FA Cup win, more important.
Well, I know he didn't win it, but we're not too far removed from the 5,000 to 1 shot that Leicester City had, 5-6 years ago now? I mean, that was one of the most unsung championship runs that any sport has ever seen from a team. So maybe they'll get another cup here, but their fans should be very thankful for that run a couple years ago. Speaking of Oxford, which you mentioned, just a reminder, when you go to Very Biased Opinions, these guys are huge supporters of Oxford United. It's actually a fun team to watch. You either have a great offensive game or a 0-0 draw. So, but they do live streams, Very Biased Opinions over there, so it's a good time either way. And they actually, I think you guys offer some Patreon membership at different levels. Do you want to speak on that for a second? I think you have an Oxford United membership.
Well, yeah, we have different members and tiers of Patreon. The details, they're down in the description below if you want to go and check that out. It starts for as little as, we use obviously English currency, it starts with as little as £3 a month to support the channel. And that little bit of money does go a huge way to supporting us to help get the videos out there to improve the quality. So if you do like the content and you do want to support us, the Patreon's there, and we'd really appreciate any support you can give us. But if you just like the videos and subscribe, that's great too.
Awesome, Ian. And hey, listen, I always want to get rid of £3. So let's get to our third bet. We're going to go to La Liga here. It is actually one of my favorite leagues. There's not a lot of excitement in La Liga until there is, if that makes sense. We have a good matchup, 3 p.m. Eastern here on the East Coast of the United States. Getafe and Real Madrid. What do you like about this matchup?
You're absolutely right, aren't you, about the La Liga? It kind of just slowly creeps along, and then all of a sudden you've got this insane battle at the top now between the three biggest clubs in La Liga of Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, and Real. And Atletico Madrid really let me down. They let me down last week. So
they let us all down. They let us all down.
I thought, we've waxed lyrical about them. We've waxed lyrical about Barcelona on this on these videos. It's time to talk a little bit about Real Madrid. They are having they're sort of peaking at the right time, really. They're playing their best football at the best time of the season. They've just knocked Liverpool out of the Champions League, and they, of course, beat Barcelona in the game they call El Clasico last weekend to pretty much be, I think it's only like a point or 2 points that covers all three of those sides. So much experience in that Real Madrid side. So many players have won so many honours down the years. And I say they're all under the guidance of Zidane, this former master football player that's like getting the best out of this side at the right time. I don't see them having any problems against this Getafe side at all. Getafe struggling down the bottom of the league and not really scoring any goals. The only thing we'll say is sometimes Real Madrid have this ability to just labour through games and inexplicably be tied 1-1 going into the last 5 minutes and then find a way to get that winner at the end. So we are going to be going, I know it's been an overfest, but we are going for over in this one as well. We're going for over 2.5 goals, which we think is really good value in this one. And we're fully expecting there to be that number of goals and for Real Madrid to win the game, of course.
I'm excited here for a couple reasons. Number one, this is probably, and not many people, are tuning into La Liga, but I think it's one of the most exciting races in European soccer right now. You were right. It's actually 2 points. Atletico Madrid, 67, Real Madrid, 66, and Barca at 65. Speaking of Barca, Ian, I'm gonna just remember that you told us they weren't going to lose again, but should we really be trusting your La League expertise? What happened to Barca last week?
Was that me? Was that Tom?
Probably Tom. That's why he hasn't shown his face in a while.
No, unfortunately, I shouldn't cover my face. That was me who said that. I feel like such a fool. I didn't even realise, this is how good I am, folks. I didn't even realise they were playing Real Madrid that weekend, but I made that bold and lavish claim that they wouldn't lose a game again. And of course, they went and lost the very next game to Real Madrid. Yeah, so maybe not. Maybe third time lucky. I didn't get it right when I did a bet on Barcelona earlier on these videos. I didn't get the Atletico one right, but maybe with Real Madrid, maybe we found a happy medium there, and I'll get a result right in La Liga for once.
Well, we know that your bets are going to be spectacular this weekend, but there wouldn't be a weekend of VBO and Grandstand Betters without Grandstand Betters over the week, which has yet to win. So this has got to be the week. So actually, we're going to kick everything off. It's a 9 a.m. matchup, just like last week when we had Ligue 1, Brest, and Nim. Oh, so disappointing. 2 goals in the first 28 minutes. Just could not find that third goal. It happens. Sometimes you're on the right side of betting and you just get the wrong result. Hopefully it doesn't happen this weekend. Our Grandstand Betters over the week, we're looking at Serie A, and it's Bologna and Spezia, and that's over 3. And the reason we went, it sounds like spaghetti Bologna, which is our favorite Italian. Ian's not agreeing. Actually, the reason we're going over here is both of these teams can actually put up goals against some decent sides, but they're playing each other, so we think they can put up at least 2 apiece. I look for actually a 2-2, maybe a 3-2 matchup here. We shall see. Make sure you guys, before we end here, make sure you go over to Very Best Teams. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Give us a like on this video. It keeps us going. It keeps this partnership going. Ian will give me the pink slip if we don't do well. And hey, listen, Grandstand Betters and Very Best Opinions are here for entertainment. We love to just give you our opinions and who we think is going to win. And you know what? We probably think that you're better than us at betting. And that's all. That's what my community, that's what Ian's community is about. Give us your opinions. Comment below. Let us know who you think is going to win. We'll even give you shout outs on our weekly videos. We'll make sure that you get the credit when you win. So give us our comments, give us the likes, and hey, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss out on all this back and forth that nobody cares about. So just to recap real quick before we sign off here, 9 a.m. Bologna, Spezia, over 3. 11 a.m. Eastern on the U.S. Man Utd, Burnley, going over 3 in that game. 1:30 semifinal FA Cup. It's on ESPN Plus for a fact, I know. Go check it out. It's going to be a great game. Leicester City, Southampton, over 2.5 goals. And if everything loses up until that point, put all your money on Getafe, Real Madrid, over 2.5. La Liga should be fun this weekend. That's your 4 bets, and they're all overs. And this video is over as well. So for Ian at Very Best Opinions, Matt at Grandstand Betters, sit back, relax, enjoy some football this weekend, and let us do the work while you do the winning.